Suresh, you said
Yeah.
Manju went to Ladakh, right? So he went along with Subbu, right?
Yes.
Okay, because now I got it. Okay, because he told me that he learned from Subbu.
Yes, Vamsi.
Okay, so I think I clicked on recording. So let's start it now. So we are now configuring always on between on-prem and Azure. So as I said, I'm going to try it in front of you. So if we get any errors, I need to troubleshoot on the fly. I'm not sure. So I think the basic prerequisites are the missions are able to communicate with each other. Side to side VPN connection is there and it is connected. Let me check that part. 1 second. Routing and remote access. Close this because my missions are not that good. And I will check here also. My gateway, is it connected or disconnected? Connections. It's connected means definitely here also it should be in connected state. Let's wait for it for a few seconds. I started the missions just now only. From yesterday night, I didn't start. When the morning when I checked, it was 51 euros or 52 euros, but now it is 57 or something. Means even if I don't do anything, if you keep your virtual network gateway, it will cost you something. Even though there is no traffic, they're still charging something for it. It was 52 or something, 52 or 53 at the morning time. Now it went to 58. So I'm just letting you know the charges as well so that you will be aware how much cost it will be when you are doing with free accounts. So just keep an eye on virtual network gateways. Okay, and let's wait for this to pop up. Still not coming. It's okay. Let's move on. I don't want to waste the time. So this is my on-prem SQL and this is my Azure SQL. So now we are trying to configure always on between on-prem and Azure. So let's give it a try. So I'm using Clue admin here, or should I do from on-prem or should I do it from here? You want on-prem to be primary or Azure to be primary?
On-prem to be primary.
Primary. Okay. Let's start this. Clue admin.msc. This will be little slow. I've given 6 GB, but still it is not that fast. It's running state. Okay. Control H. Are you seeing any impact of recession in your companies, like any talk like that recession happening right now?
No, see, but I think some article has come like America inflation has gone to 8.6 and euro and
Yes,
American
yes.
USD came equal, and I think contract employees and maybe from next year they will be cutting the costs like that. some information is getting like that. Is
Hmm.
it true or not?
Yeah, it is true. Inflation has already started. Definitely, today the US dollar and euro is rate is
Ah,
one at the same.
equal, one
Yeah,
at the same, and it I think 20 years. This is the first time I think so.
yeah. It didn't happen nearly for 20 years, but
And also UK Prime Minister is also resigned, and
uh,
new Prime Minister has came. I think due to that only.
yeah, there are many things happening around the world. I don't know how it will be for us. So
Hmm.
it will be tough for sure. Create cluster itself is taking long time. Okay. Meanwhile, I'll just ping my IP to see if it is really getting pinged or not. 10.10.10.6. Yes, replay is happening. Uh, we'll create the cluster in Azure. Okay, it came finally. It looks like it came. Okay, thank you, God. So now I have to select this on-prem SQL and Azure SQL. Let's browse. When I'm browsing, since I made trust between the domains, I should be able to see both the servers. So let's see that. Locations, I'm just finding locations. So I will select entire directory so that both my contoso.com, which is on-prem, and MC, sorry, point2site.com, which is my Azure domain. So both the domains are appearing here. So let me select the entire directory, and I need to add the machines. I'm going on advanced and find now. So I could see AG1 node 1. Let me select that first. And then the other machine is node 1 SQL. So for that, I will select point to site. And then I will say advanced and find now. So this is my node 1 SQL. I'm selecting that. So these are my machines. So I'm configuring this for the first time. So I'm not sure if we get any errors. I have to fix it on the fly. You don't have administrative privileges on the server node 1 SQL point to site.com. Okay, what does it mean? Means I need to add my account on Azure then. lusrmgr.msc groups administrators. I'm adding contoso / administrator. That is the account with which I logged in. So let's check the locations and let me pick contoso.com. It will not. Okay, I will cancel administrator. Administrator. ADMINISTRATOR administrator. Yeah. Okay. Apply. Okay. Now I'm adding my uh, on-prem account to Azure account, Azure mission. So I added it into the administrators group on this Azure SQL box. So now let's give it a try if this works. Browse. I have to select point to site. It is node 1 SQL. It's no, still the same. You don't have administrative privileges on the server node 1 SQL dot point to site.com. Okay. So if this error happens, I think in the past I used to set the time. If you see here, the time on my Azure machine and the on-prem machine is differing. So on on-prem it is 8:45, sorry, 8:48 a.m. Whereas here it is 3:48 p.m. So if the even if the time is not the same, I think we will get this error if I'm not wrong. Let me add the point to site domain account to this mission also, and then I will change the timings. So as I said, it's very difficult. It's not that easy. LUSR groups administrators add. It should be point to site and it will be with my name. Okay, apply. Okay, and then browse. Oh, it should be point to site again. Node 1 SQL. Still the same as expected. So what is the time it is showing? 3:48, right? 3:49 p.m. So let's change the date and time and see. What is the time zone in this mission? It is UTC coordinated universal time, 3:50 p.m. Okay. So let me go here and check UTC. UTC, UTC, UTC. UTC. Okay, now let's give it a try. Hmm. What else should be there? You don't have administrative privileges on the server. Node 1 SQL dot point to site. I'll come the other way around, guys. So let's see it from here and see if this works. Blue admin. Blue admin. Windows administrative tools. Payload cluster. Didn't I install payload cluster here? Server manager. Manage, add roles. Next, 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 next. Oh, pending restart. Okay. Continue. This will not take much time because this is Azure, right? So it will be super fast. Ping 10.10.10.6-T. It's already, I'm getting the replies. So let's connect. Now I will give a try since we restarted that machine. So point to site.com, node 1 SQL. Check the names. No, it's not taking. Let's give a try from here then. blueadmin.msc. Create a cluster. Next, browse, advanced, fine. Node 1 SQL. Okay, and then Contoso, and then advanced, fine. AG1 node 1, yes. Let's see it from here. Okay, it went ahead, a good sign. Prasad, so we can configure payload cluster anywhere. So we are going to create our listener as primary on what is it, on-prem. So I'm just creating the cluster from Azure to on-prem. So it doesn't matter. Hopefully you got it right. So I will skip this. We're just testing, so it's not required. Cluster name. This will be interesting, guys. So what do you think? If you remember when we were discussing about clusters on Azure between the Azure VMs. So as I said, from Windows 2019, I have a distributed network name, so it will automatically take DNNs. But since we are operating between 2016, my on-prem Windows version is 2016, and my Azure VM is running on Windows 2019. Okay, so I'm configuring Windows clusters across different versions of Windows. So this is something very, very new for me. So let's give a try. Windows cluster, I'll just say Windows cluster, that's it. So it is taking the IP of on-prem environment. My on-prem environment is 192.168 series, whereas my Azure environment is 10.10. Series. So it is taking this on-prem thing, and let's give something 192.168.0. I will say 20. Let's move on and see. Uncheck this, add eligible storage. Okay, next. Straight away it said you are gone. You know why? Because when you are creating the cluster, by default, Azure will take it will work on DHCP protocol. If you see here, it says DHCP address on 10.10.24, and I just configured 192.168.0.20, and it says it failed. What it failed? Could not determine the management network point, network type, troubleshoot, something is the one what I got. Okay, no problem. So finish. Refresh. So what should I do now? Any guess you wanted to try? Arvind, are you there? By now you will definitely talk something. That's the reason I am asking. I think I have the commands with me to create static IP. So let's make use of that. Guys, are you there?
Yes, Vamsi.
You are
Yes,
there.
Vamsi.
Okay, okay. So are you understanding the error what I'm getting? So by default, Azure will work on DHCP protocol, and our on-prem works on static IPs. That's the reason I'm not able to create the Windows cluster. So I have to ensure that my on-prem cluster, sorry, my Azure cluster is also taking static IP. So for that reason, I have to use the different command. If you remember long time back, I was using management point network type singleton, something like this, right? So I'm making use of the same command now, and let's give it a try. As I said, it is not at all easy, guys. And on top of it, unfortunately, I didn't practice. So let's see. Windows 2019 cluster. So my mission names are node1 SQL dot. In the meanwhile, can someone check, is it possible to configure Windows cluster between 2016 and 2019? Is it allowed to do like that? I'm not sure. I just wanted to check that part. Node1 SQL and then AG1 node1 dot AG1 node1 dot contoso.com. Static address I will take on-prem IPs. So let's make this as 192.168.0.25 hyphen no storage active directory, and okay, let's give it a try. Windows 2019 cluster. Okay. But before that, I'll just validate the cluster, guys, just to ensure that at least this goes fine. Node1 SQL. Shit, Node1 SQL. Okay, and then Contoso AG1 node1. AG1 node1. Next. Run all the tests. Yes. Next. Let's see, at least if this goes fine, then I will get little more confidence, because we are doing across the Windows versions and that too between different networks. Did you guys apply for Virgin Media?
To create cluster, enterprise edition should be prerequisite, right? Windows cluster.
Yeah, Enterprise Edition is prerequisite, but since we are creating, I mean on-prem I have Evaluation Edition, so until it gets expired, it's okay that I can make use of it. That's what I believe. So
Okay.
let's wait for this health check. I mean, validate the cluster, because even though this is test, I have to perform this because I'm not sure if we can create.
Vamsi, the standard also will support cluster, right?
Yes,
OS
standard.
11.
Yes, standard
But
edition.
there is a limit of the configuring the nodes
I think it is 8 in
up
the recent
to 8.
versions. Yeah,
Yes.
8, I guess. 50%. Okay. This will be very interesting, guys. If this works, it will be very it will make me feel happy for sure. This is not that easy. It appears easy, but it's not easy. Once we can overcome this, once we can, if we can create the Windows cluster, then we are fine. I think we are good. But hopefully this should work. So let's wait for it. Validation of cluster itself is taking this much time. Okay. Something failed. Okay. See, and I am thinking that I can do it straight away. Okay. Failed. Too many errors. Okay, let's wait. Operating system is a prerequisite, I think so. Like the versions should be same. Can we create Windows cluster? Windows cluster between different operating systems version. Adding 2016 server to the 2012 failover cluster. You cannot add different OS to a failover cluster. The host must have the same OS. Straight away says this point. Okay, let's view the report. System configuration is the failed. We can ignore the warnings. We can ignore everything, but system configuration failed. So it failed where validating the operating system version. Okay, the operating system version is not the same for all the servers. See, as you can see, data center 2016 and 2019 data center. So it says you can't do it. Oh, big problem for us.
Right away throwing there.
Yeah. It's okay. It will not take much time to spin a new mission. 2016, right? Okay. Point to site and I will name this as Azure SQL 2016. Means I should select 2016 and then the SQL version is 2019. So it should be, let's check the gallery, marketplace. See all the images. SQL Server 2019. SQL Server 2019 on Windows 2016. Let's check this first. SQL Server 2019 on Windows 2016. It's not there. Okay, let's type this SQL Server 2019.
I think down one is there. Below that one itself.
This one is SQL 2016 on Windows 2019. I need Windows 2016 because my on-prem is 2016. Let's do this. SQL Server 2016 SP3 on Windows Server 2019. This is not what we want. That is the case. We have to build our own server then. SQL Server. Can we configure always on between 2019 and 20? It's not possible. Higher to lower, it's not possible. So obviously my on-prem should be 2016 and 2019 SQL. So in the marketplace, I don't have. So if that is the case, come back and we'll create our own machine. So point to site. Virtual machine name is Azure SQL. Windows 2016. Windows 2016, yes. And sizes, it's okay, fine. It will not take much time, but I should have checked this before itself. But anyways, you are seeing all the errors right in front of you. So it's also beneficial. So point to site, backend, nothing. Okay. Next, management, disable, and then nothing else to create. Have you ever worked on this, like always on between? Do you have any setup in real time between on-prem and Azure? I didn't work on it. Guys, why can't we make like this? So why can't I create DAG between on-prem and the current node, what I have on Azure? Did you get my point?
Yeah, we can same different networks, right?
So, but the thing is, I have only one machine. So can we create one machine? I mean, can we create clustering only on that machine and create listener and then create DAG between them? It is possible to create DAG, that is for sure, but only one machine I have. So I'm just thinking if that can be done or not. In the meanwhile, I will just do one thing. I will make this ready. I will make this ready and we'll give a try. I don't want to lose this mission. Let's give it a try. It will be very challenging, but it's okay. Let's keep this aside. It will just connect. I will just install failover cluster and I'll add this to domain. I'll keep this ready. I'll keep this ready in the meantime. I think Aravind is not responding, so probably he left. Oh, he's there. Okay. Guys, if you know this IP, if you check the DNS server, what will be that IP? There is one IP that comes naturally when you install the virtual machine. Please do remember about this IP, guys. What is that? 168.63. I think I pressed it on my local machine. Let's wait for it. IP config/all. This IP 168.63.129.16. If you see that IP, then you will not be able to add your machine to domain controller. Okay, so please keep an eye on this DNS server. So it will not allow you to add your machine to domain controller. It should be our domain controller IP. Okay, it should be 10.10. Whatever the IP what I have for the domain controller, I should have that IP. Otherwise, I will not be able to add this machine. But this IP is very important and this plays a crucial role in the upcoming classes. So I wanted to show you how it works for on-prem, right? I mean, sorry, yesterday's class, I failed to connect to my Azure SQLs from my on-prem servers. So I think that this IP plays a major role. I am reading about this IP and once I get some clarity, I will show you about that part. But at the moment, we should have 10.10.10.4. That is the IP what I have for my domain controller. So I will do that now. In the meanwhile, I'll just install failover cluster here. And then I will change that IP. How to change that IP to 10.10.4 for this machine? These are all old topics, guys. So you should be able to answer this. Anyone?
DNS will change, right?
Yeah, how to change the DNS? How to change the DNS for this machine? Okay, so for that, I can
From the
change it.
network.
Yeah.
Static IP.
No, not the static IP. So I can do it at the virtual network level. So if I take the virtual network and if I go to point to site VNet, where all the missions are part of. So if I go here and if I go to the subnets, okay, if you see, these are all the subnets what I have. Okay, and at the bottom, I have DNS server, right? So here I'm not specified any custom IP. I mean, so that's the reason you are seeing 168.63.129.16. So if you take the default Azure provided DNS IP, it will be the same IP 168.63.129.16. So that's why you are seeing this IP on the new mission, what I created. Okay, so this IP 168.63.129.16. So I can change this here. If I change this here, this will get applied to all the missions that are part of this subnet. So if I want only for particular mission, like what I have created just now, so I can select that mission. This is the mission what I have just created, and go to the networking, select the network interface card, and go to the DNS. So it says inherit from virtual network. So that is the reason you are seeing 168, because at the virtual network level, it is Azure provided DNS IP. So I have to change this to custom, and I have to add the domain controller IP. I think it is 10.10.10.4. I'm sure 10.10.10.4. So just save this. Once we finish off the installation of failover cluster, we'll restart and it will show you it's done now. So close this and let's restart. Restart. Next time when the mission comes up, it will show the DNS IP as 10.10.10.4. I think it's saved, right? Yes, it got saved. I'll just check the IP of the domain controller. 10.10.10.4. Okay, fine. So we are good to go. MSTSC. This is the IP, right? Now I will be able to add my mission to domain controller. Okay, and let me show you that ipconfig/all, and it will now show that IP as, where is that? See this DNS server is now with the domain controllers IP 10.10.10.4. If you don't do this, you will not be able to add your mission to domain controller. That is very important. So properties, change the settings, change domain. My domain is point2site.com, point2site.com. Okay. How I missed the basic thing, like the version of Windows should be same to create the Windows cluster. I forgot that basic part. We start now. Okay, we are done. So now I can connect to my new mission that I spinned, and let's create the failover cluster 10.10.10.10. Since I joined to domain, so I can pass the domain credentials. Point to site is the domain and username. Do you think it will work now or it will cause any issues again? Even I am not sure. Let's see.
I think same OS we have selected and the domain also same, right?
Domain is point to site in on-prem, whereas in Azure it is point to site. In on-prem it is Contoso. We have two different domains.
Two different multi-domain it will support and OS is same, right? That
Yeah,
we may
it
proceed
should
it.
work now. It should work.
Yeah,
But
it
if
should
it
work.
doesn't, if it don't work, if it doesn't work, definitely I have to try distributed availability groups. There is no other option. Okay, so let's wait for it.
Vamsi, you were creating the cluster, right? What happened?
Yeah, I asked you many times. Thing is that Arvind, I forgot the basic part. My on-prem is running on Windows 2016, whereas my Azure is on 2019. So I cannot create the cluster.
Ah, okay. So your on-premise is 16, not 19.
SQL is 19, but Windows OS is 2016. I didn't check that part. I thought
Oh,
it is
okay.
2019 and 2019. So I straight away went ahead and thought of creating the cluster, but that operating systems are different. So it didn't allow me. So let me see one thing here. I just spin the new mission. So will I be able to connect to my on-prem 192.168.0.11, I guess. Okay, it is still working because we are connected to site, guys. That's the advantage. So if we are making use of site-to-site VPN. So I just spin the new mission on Azure, but still I am able to connect to my on-prem servers. That's the beauty. Okay, now we are done. So now we are on 2016. Let me double check. Yes, 2016. And let's try to validate the cluster first before doing some advanced things. So let's validate first. It should succeed. It should pass. This is, what is this mission?
I think we need certificate, right? It is two different domains.
Yes, we need certificates also, but at least first we should be able to create Windows cluster. So hopefully if our Windows cluster gets created, then we need certificates. That's true. Okay, this is the mission. And the other mission is in Contoso. What is that mission name? AG1 node 1. Oh, I didn't select this mission. Advanced Azure SQL VM. Okay. Contoso and point to site. Okay. Run. Next. So Arvind, what I'm planning is, if this doesn't work, the only option left out for us is to create DAG.
Okay, so now what are you trying to do?
So I am trying to create Windows cluster between on-prem and Azure. Okay.
And it is 2016.
Yeah, it was 2016. My on-prem is 2016. Now I created a new mission and in Azure, and it is 2016 now. So if this gets created, we are good to go. Otherwise, we have to create DAG, because DAG, I will create a Windows cluster on-prem, and I will create a Windows cluster on Azure, and then we will create the distributed availability groups between them. So that is the only option left out for us if this doesn't work. Hopefully, I think it should work.
Got you.
Software updates also will be quite different, because that is my virtual mission and this is Azure mission.
But how do we connect if in case we fail over to Azure? There we need load balancer, right?
Don't ask me anything.
Okay. So this is the first time you are trying to set up?
Yes, I'm doing it on the fly.
Okay. So what were you trying in the first time? You were trying to set up a cluster, right? What
Yeah.
were you trying that time?
At that time, I just added the nodes and I tried to create the cluster, but as the operating systems are mismatching, it didn't allow me to create the cluster. Okay, that is first part.
Okay, so your on-prem is
2016. So on-prem configuration is Windows 2016 and SQL 2019. Okay, let me show you that part.
Okay, clear. No, that we cannot do, Vamsi. 2016 to 2019.
Yes, that is what I thought. Since I have SQL 2019, I thought my on-prem OS also will be 2019, but that is not the case. It is 2016 and 2019. I forgot that.
Okay, actually, the node connectivity happens through Kerberos for Windows 16 and lower than 16. But from 2019, they have changed. They are connecting using TLS 1.2 using self-signed certificate. So generally, that won't work actually.
And also, forget about all those enhancements. When we carried the basic validation, I will show you now. This is the report. It's straight away said the operating system version is not the same for all the servers. If you see my AG1 node 1, which is part of on-prem, so it is saying 2016, and my node 1 SQL is on 2019. So when I ran the validation, it failed. So that's the reason I just created one more mission now, and I'm validating that cluster, and hopefully it should work. And now it is saying time testing is in progress, taking more time. Let's see if these missions are running or not, because usually it will get turned off. Okay, it is still there. After running
Did you
that one,
disable any file share by default in your on-prem server? Because that is required. $.
I didn't disable it. I didn't do that.
Okay.
Where it is taking time now, it is validating the software 50% and then software. Okay. Or let's, okay, I cannot run the command because we are not sure. Oh, why it is taking time? Shall I cancel this and rerun? Or should I wait 2 hours? Sorry, 2 minutes, 45 seconds. Let's
No,
cancel.
Vamsi, I think it is not able to connect, I guess.
Okay, let me
Just check
cancel.
the $, the file share.
192. First, I'll go with IPs so that, yeah, I'm able to open. Okay, let's run the command. I am taking the chance. It's okay. If it fail, what happens? It's just our test mission. So this is our command. It is already in place. So, and the point what I was discussing prior is, Arvind, as you know, in Azure, it will take DHCP protocol, and in on-prem, it will take the static IPs, right? So that's why I have to run this management point network type singleton. Otherwise, it will not work. That is also one more challenging thing what I had. So let's open this and open the.
That is for 2019, right? This is 2016. I think you can directly assign the static IP.
Okay, let's. It will not work. See, I will show you now. Testing elapsed time. Okay, it canceled. Okay, cancel. Let's validate the cluster, but this time not. I will not run all the tests. I will just select few of them. So AG1 node 1. Next, run only the select test what I select. Okay, so I will skip the inventory. I will skip the storage. I'll skip everything. I'll just select system configuration. Because if this gets okay, fine, then there should not be any problems. Few red. Okay, it's done now. Let's validate. There should not be any errors. Warnings I can ignore. Ask me later. Okay, it's only warnings. Fine. Let it be. Close. 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 Let's try to create the Windows cluster. Create. Next. Browse. This is what I am talking about, Arvind. I'll show you in a moment. So find now. Azure SQL VM. And then browse. Contoso. AG1 node 1. Okay, next. If you see, it is not giving me the 10.10. Series IP. It is just showing me the on-prem IP. It is not showing the Azure IP. Why? Because Azure by default, it will operate in DHCP protocol. Because we are doing, it's a multi-subnet, right? My on-prem is part of 192 series and my Azure is part of 10. Series. So obviously it is straight away multi-subnet. So for multi-subnet, I should be able to see two IPs, two networks here, but that is not happening. Why? Because my Azure will default run on DHCP protocol. Let's give it a try. Windows.
No, it should not work because it is multi-subnet and it is not able to recognize.
I will add it later. I can do it later also. It is possible. So I will just give it a try. Windows on-prem, something like that. And I will give some IP 192.168.30. Next. Let's give it a try. Storage uncheck. Next. Let's wait for it and see what it throws, what error it comes. Forming the cluster, that's a good sign. But until it gets finished, I am not confident.
Range is between 0 to 24, right?
Ping is happening. Yeah, ping is happening. Okay, you
Okay.
want me to ping that? Okay, it's getting created, right? I will show you. Let me open my on-prem domain controller. So let me fire dsa.msc. These missions are slow. That's why I'm not showing you here. Computers, it's just showing AG node 1 for the moment. Okay. Creating the cluster resource type Windows on-prem. I didn't connect to my Azure domain controller also. Let me connect. This is not log shipping to do straight away. Looks like completed, successful. That's a good thing. Super. Okay, so our cluster is ready, but if you see it is selecting, okay, it took now. Okay, but I think here definitely it will take static IP. If you see it took the IP of the machine itself, DHCP enabled. So I have to change this. So I will make this as 30. This is what I'm talking about. So let's make this as 30 and apply. Okay. Okay. And let's fail over between the servers first. And if this works, then we can think about SQL. So Windows cluster is on-prem on my Azure. Sorry, is Windows cluster is active or online on my on-prem. Let's fail over this. More actions. What is that? Move core cluster resources. Select the node Azure SQL VM, and it is trying to bring my services. Yes, it is working fine. So there should not be any issue now. I'm pretty sure it will work. One good sign, we were able to proceed further. So I don't have SQL here, so I have to download SQL, but it will not
Just
take
fail over to other IP.
Okay, so it was initially online in on-prem. So let's make this on-prem again. AG1 node 1. This is my on-prem server. 192 series is on-prem. It's working fine, no problem. This is done. Cool. First part, we were successful. If that is the case, we just need to download SQL. So for that, I think I don't have ISO. Let me download. It should be 2019 again. Let me turn off this Internet Explorer dirty thing. Off and off, and I'll turn off the firewall. Even I didn't turn off the firewall, but still we are able to configure Windows cluster. If you see, everything is up only. But I'm now downloading a software, so that's the reason I'm turning it off. Off.
It is connecting through 3343 port number. I'm not sure how it is connecting.
I don't know, maybe an exclusion somewhere. I'm not sure. Okay, let it be. For the moment, I am not worried about how it got created until it gets. I think I didn't turn off this. Turn off. Okay. It's done. So let's download SQL 2019 developer edition, right? SQL Server 2019 developer edition ISO. I turned it off, right? Why again it is asking? Developer edition, yes. Download. Save. Open the folder and then install. The small check, if I would have done definitely some time, I would have saved. Okay. Download to ISO. Okay. Browse. Okay. Download. Now I have to install SQL also. That is the sad part. My mistake. I thought my Windows mission is 2019 on my virtual box. Let's mount and run the software. We can think about DAG as well. I think even if I have one node, I can create one node cluster in on-prem. I can create one node cluster in Azure, and we can configure DAG also. It is possible, quite possible. I don't think there will be any problems. But anyways, we are trying always on. So first, let's perform that, and then we can think about DAG next. Sorry. This is the difference between Linux and Windows. Just think about Kubernetes, how fast it will be in Kubernetes then. Database, I will keep replication. That's it, nothing else. And I will create client tools so that at least I can run SQL CMD. Client tools, client connectivity. That's it. Database engine I selected, right? Okay, I don't need anything else. Okay, C drive, it's fine. Yes, named instance. I will create the service accounts later. Skip this automatic. Oh, it's we're doing always on, it's not required. Add the current user. Exit mode. I think rest all will go with defaults. I don't care. Install. Since I don't have SSMS here, I will use this machine and I will connect from here. Okay. I don't have SSMS on this new machine. So if I try to install SSMS, it will take a lot of time. So I'll make use of this machine. This machine is now, it's just like a client machine because I don't have cluster on this. This node is not participating. It's just a client machine where I install SSMS. That's it. Let me refresh and let me see if that object appears here. No, it is not appearing here. Let's check that object in my domain controller, which is 10.10.4, and point to site and computers. And Windows 2019 is not appearing here also. Are you seeing this? Do you know why? Usually the objects will appear here, right? Shankar or Mani, Karthik, Prasad. My Windows cluster is not appearing here.
It should be displayed, but we cannot see.
No, it's not displaying. It's just displaying the missions. Node 1 SQL. This is 2019, so I didn't. So ignore this. And this is the new VM what I've created. It is appearing. Only missions are appearing. My Windows cluster is not appearing here. Do you know the reason? So imagine I'm just asking you some tough interview questions. Do you know the reason behind this?
Mhm.
Why? Because when you're creating the Windows cluster, remember guys, that we have the provision. We can create only at Active Directory level. We can create at DNS level. Since we created the Windows cluster between on-prem and Azure, and we provided the on-prem IP 192.168.0.30 at the time of creation of Windows cluster. Okay, so it took the DNS entry, but it didn't take the Active Directory. If you see, this is appearing in my DNS server. This is my DNS server, DNS manager. Under DNS manager, it is appearing Windows on-prem. This is the cluster what I have created, and the IP what I have given is 10.10.10.30. It is appearing inside my DNS manager, but not inside my Active Directory users and computers. So don't always think that our Windows objects will appear inside Active Directory and users. So there are chances, just like what you are seeing, it will not appear in these scenarios. So it is possible to create Windows cluster without, without that computer object being appearing inside our DSA.msc. It is possible. So this is the document what I prepared with all the scenarios for myself, because I've seen when I saw that for the first time, even I got amused, because I thought every time that object will appear inside Active Directory users and computers, but that is not the case. So if you see, this is what I'm talking about, administrative access point. So administrative access point can be DNS, like what in our case, it happened in our case now. So it got created only in DNS. Usually it will be Active Directory and DNS, both it should appear. But in our case, it is appearing only in DNS now. If you want to appear only in Active Directory also, you can pass this command, administrative access point as Active Directory. So these are all very, very internal things you can ignore. Let's wait for the SQL to get finished. Yes, it is done. So we are super good. So let's enable the service account and turn on the always on now. Let's do it fastly. I'm running out of time, 5:40. Unfortunately, I lost some time. Properties and service account, it's point to site, right? Point to site. Okay. What is that account? What I have? I forgot. Something SQL, something. SQL. Oh, I didn't have something with SQL. Let me check the service account here on this machine. It is point to site / Azure SQL. Azure SQL. Okay. Azure SQL. Okay. Should be $43. Yes. What about that mission? Did I turn on the always on future? Let me check here first. Always on availability groups, Windows on-prem, yes. Click, apply, okay, okay. Restart, done. And how about on my on-prem server, right? On-prem SQL. We were not able to create the cluster from here, doesn't matter. But I will make on-prem SQL as primary. For that, what I need, I have to enable the always on future properties, always on availability groups. I'm closing everything, but still it is slow. Okay. Apply. Okay. Okay. -1 restart. I think we are in a good shape, guys. So let's configure always on. So this machine will now act like a client mission because I didn't add this machine to cluster. So we can ignore this machine. So one is AG1 node 1 INST1, my on-prem. Oh, I just restarted, right? I think it will take some time. It's still starting. If it is as expected, it is not turning on. What will be the error then? Let me check the event viewer. SQL is not coming up for the first time. The service didn't start due to logon failure. The service didn't start due to logon failure. Service didn't start due to logon failure. Why? Contoso / SQL service / on-prem. Oh, yesterday I changed the service account, right? If you remember, I changed the service account. Okay. So now then go to properties. I have to update the password. What did I update it there? Let me check. Yes. Cool. Super cool. So now let's connect. Having good memory. This one remains the same. Admin $140. Okay. And now that mission name is, I don't know the mission name. What is that? Azure SQL VM. Okay. Azure SQL VM. If I'm not able to connect, can you tell me why? Fast, guys. Come on. Speed up.
Public IP or private endpoint?
You know, one funny thing, I think I am guessing it. Let me check that part. By default, when you install, I think this will be disabled state. Okay. TCP IP will be in disabled state, guys. So just keep an eye. I just enabled it and I will restart. So then it will allow me to connect. Since I have done this so many times, I got used to this error. So it's now, it's very easy for me to identify. That's why if you practice it so many times, it will be a cakewalk. So it's done. So now we are in good shape. Prasad, I think finally we are there. Hopefully I can configure always on now. I think I configured all lock shipping between these databases. Let me create one new DB. I'll say always on DB, something like that. Come on, come on, come on. Always on DB. And that's it. And what are the prerequisites, guys? So endpoints, to the creation of endpoints. So I should have service account should have grant connect permissions on endpoints. NT/system should have some permissions. So for that matter, as we are just testing, I'm ignoring and straight away giving sysadmin for NT/. It's okay, fine here.
Is the services running under a local system?
No, they are running with domain accounts.
Then the NT authority system don't need any permission, right?
No, basic availability groups. Sorry, when you are creating the availability groups, so health checks are being carried out using this account. I think you are.
No, not at all, Vamsi. You can remove and check it.
Unless you will get the error, but I will show you. I can show you that because in my previous classes I showed them you are not part of it, but it is very much required, Arvind. I will show you. Once I am done, I will show you. I don't want to mess the things now. But I will definitely show you. So it's done. So let's take one full backup so that we'll be in sudo. From sudo will be in real full recovery model. Take backup and equal and something. It's okay, fine. Now let's add this to always on. Sorry, it's not lock shipping. New availability group. Next, AG. Just say AG. That's it. Let's name this AG on-prem something. Always on DB. Okay. Next. This is fine. And this is Azure SQL VM. Yes. Admin $40. Remember the password. Automatic failover. So listener, I will create it now only. So let's name this LSN or on-prem. Port 1433 static IP. Add. Here I will give some 40. Okay, and then add. I'll give the same 40. 10.10.10.40. Okay, I think we are good. Endpoints, it will get created automatically. Yes, seeding. Next, finish. See, my account got added automatically just now. Point to site SQL service account got added and it will grant connect permissions on that endpoint. So let's wait for it.
We have not selected the option to create the login, right? Automatically
It will add.
from where it will fetch that account? AD?
Yeah, from AD.
So primary, which is running the same service account, right?
Please. Okay. I think we are in good shape. Let's open the clue admin there. It's already open, right? AG on-prem, yes, looks cool. And let's fail over and see. I'll just perform failover and I will close this off. Failover, right? Failover, okay. Failover should happen from this window. Let's open this. Let's refresh once. Yes, it's synchronized. Synchronized, okay. Failover. That's it, very simple. No errors whatsoever. Once we bypass that Windows cluster, it's straightforward. It's a cakewalk. I don't think I will get any errors. If you see now, as of now, I didn't refresh. So my listener listener IP is not appearing. If I refresh it now, it will appear inside my DNS also. Let's refresh this. I click, oh, sorry. Refresh. See, listener on-prem, it got registered inside my DNS with 40 and with 40. This is on-prem's IP and this is Azure's IP. And if I refresh here, I don't think it will appear because we made use of DNS. Sorry. Where is refresh here? Refresh. No, it's not appearing. So it is appearing only inside the DNS management. That's it, guys. So any questions?
That Windows part only is a bit confusing.
Which one?
So on-prem to Azure we have configured, right? Cluster.
I didn't do any magic. I just validated the cluster and I just added the mission in front of you because I didn't.
So VNet should be same, right? That case, both the on-prem and
we are in
Azure.
separate. See, VNet is applicable only for Azure. So I am in completely different network here. The only thing here is very important thing is first you have to establish the trust between the domain
On-prem
controllers.
and
Yeah, so
okay.
that is very important. So if I open up the trust here, let me show you that. That's why I asked you to watch the multi-subnet, multi-domain video, what I uploaded in YouTube. It's very important. So if you see here, Active Directory Domains and Trust, I created the trust between contoso.com and point2site.com. Let me show you. I created the trust from that side, not from this side. So 1 second. Active Directory Domains and Trust. Where is that? Oh, come on. Active Directory Domains and Trust. If you see, let me show you that part. It is super slow. So I'll do it from here. Properties. If I go to properties, if I go to the trust, if you see point2site.com is showing domain as contoso.com under the trust tab. So my point2site.com, which is nothing but my Azure domain, is trusting my on-prem domain, which is contoso.com. So once you have this trust, everything will be straightforward, guys. So establishing the trust is the critical part. If I go here and if I go to the properties of contoso.com and if I go to the trust tab, now it is showing. Of course, previously I tried with different account MCTS. That's why it's appearing here. You can ignore this. My point2site.com is appearing. So that contoso.com is trusting my point2site.com and my point2site.com is trusting the contoso.com. So once we establish the trust, It's always straightforward. There should not be any errors. The only thing, the mistake what I did today is I thought my on-prem is also on Windows 2019. I forgot that, sorry. So I thought we can set up the cluster, but unfortunately it's different versions of OS. So if that is the case, it will not allow. Either you have to go with DAG or you have to again create a new mission, just like what I did. I just created a new mission in front of you and added the failover cluster and added that mission to domain controller. And I created the Windows cluster. And lastly, I created the always on availability groups as well. So failover and failback is also working fine. If you want, I will fail it back. So now right now my age is primary on Azure. So if I want, I can make this primary on-prem as well.
MC load balancer.
It's not required because if you remember the topics very carefully, load balancer is only required if you fail over between the single subnets. Okay, single subnet, for single subnet only you need load balancer. We are in multi-subnet, so no need for load balancer. So now let us make on-prem as primary. It will definitely come, no problem. That's it. So on-prem is back again primary. Very straightforward, nothing great. Only thing is the mistake what I committed with operating system versions. Rest all is simple. Arvind, I can show you tomorrow. It's anti-address system is very important. Let me show you now only.
So it is important, but it does not require system admin privileges.
So I will show you now in front of you. It's not required system admin. It requires view availability, view server state, and alter any availability group permissions.
Correct. Only those three permission it is required.
That is true. That is that. Okay, you are talking about yes. That's what since I already discussed about view server state and that other permission. So I don't have that patience to go that exact permissions. So,
yeah, it will be easy to grant. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
So now this is very simple, guys. So I don't think I have any other scenarios left with VMs. We tried everything like always on between Azure VMs, always on DAGs, always on between on-prem and this thing. So what else is there? I don't think so. Especially with
but
all
here
this.
once we fail over to Azure VM, are we able to connect using listener name? Because it is not listening, right? It is not. It cannot listen on that particular IP. I think we have to add that IP under the network interface.
Let me show
of
you
that particular VM.
SQL CMD-S. What is that? What I've given? LSN or on-prem, right? LSN or on-prem. Sorry, guys. For $3, I think $. Oh, sorry, I didn't pass the -m multi-subnet. See, straight away I'm connecting with my listener from on-prem. Right now on-prem is primary. So let me find this. Select @ server name. It will show me AG1 node 1. Okay, let me fail back to Azure and let's connect from there also. Failover. Done. Done. So let's connect now. Now it will show me that what is the node name? Azure SQL VM. I just did the failover, so it might take some time to appear. So let's wait for it. It's okay, fine. If I get any errors here, then what should I do? I'm getting errors.
Just ping and telnet the port.
Yeah, I will do that. 1 second. So let's. Okay, it will fail eventually. It waste time. So ping LSNR on prem dot point to site.com. Okay, thanks. NS lookup 10.10.10.40. Okay, it's not working, guys. So it's okay, fine. Nothing great here. So I missed the basic part again. So now let's go to the our VM. Okay, go to the networking. Go to the network interface card and go to IP configurations. Since this is multi-subnet, so I have to add one more entry here. If you remember, I did this for multi-subnet always on. Let me go again. IP configurations, add listener test, whatever it is, name doesn't matter. It says primary configuration already exists. Yes, we have to add that IP 10.10.10.40. Okay, just wait for a few seconds. It's added now. Now let's give a try and see if that works. It's not able to connect, as you can see. Pass the IP first, 10.10.40. Okay, with IP, I'm able to connect, Arvind. So it's with DNS again. DNS resolution is not happening for my listener.
Use -m and see.
Sorry, I forgot that. Yes. So it's fine. So yes. So it is working fine with even on Azure also. Azure, when I failed it over to Azure machine, it's working fine. And let's fail it back and last try. That's it. This is secondary now. Refresh. Fail over. We need to add that additional IP for multi-subnet, guys. It is mandatory. Otherwise, it will not work. So I forgot that. Sorry for that. Okay, it's done now. And if I fire this now, it will show me AG1 node 1. Select @ server name. Go. AG1 node 1. We can clearly see before the failover, it was Azure SQL VM. And after the failover, it is AG1 node 1, which is my on-prem. So I think everything is working fine. Any questions? If you have no questions, then I'm just wondering what are the other scenarios that I can try between on-prem and Azure. I think we tried lock shipping, we tried the always on. Replication will be straightforward. I don't think there will be any trouble. Any others? Linked servers, we tried. Backup, we tried. What else you can think of? Prasad or Karthik or Mani, any other scenarios you want me to try? Because I am not able to think about other cases. Anything that you want me to try? Open up, guys. Otherwise,
I think we are good.
I think DAG is the only thing. If you are having any doubts, that only thing is DAG. For DAG, guys, it will be very tricky. Believe me, because for the DAG to work as expected, we should have a load balancer. DAG needs load balancer. I think without configuring load balancer, it's not possible. It will be very tricky. So I will try DAG today, and then tomorrow's class I will show you how to do DAG between this thing and that thing. I'm not sure. I think I need a load balancer, but let me double check that part. Leaving out the DAG, I don't think there is any other thing that we can test out. I think we are done. Everything is working fine. Okay, so I'm winding off. If you have any questions, as usual, you can reach me out. If not, I'll catch you tomorrow with DAG. Take care, guys.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you.
Yeah, good night.
Bye bye.
Bye, Vamsi.
Bye, Mani. Bye.